Good morning, everyone. Delta Airlines just announced they're permanently ending their Austin to Midland service. This route, which connects Texas's capital to the Permian Basin, will have its last flight on November 9, 2025. For travelers who rely on this connection, this is a big change. This decision is part of Delta's bigger plan to focus on routes that make more money. Not enough people flying and changing priorities led to this move. In the next few minutes, we'll talk about why Delta made this decision and what it means for travelers and the future of air travel in Texas. Let's dive into the story behind this sudden change. Delta's Austin-Midland route was a short-lived one, launched in April 2024 and ending just a year and a half later. Hopes were high, with Austin's booming tech scene and Midland's energy sector expected to drive demand. Delta offered 2 to 3 daily flights, aiming to serve both business and leisure travelers. But the expected surge in passengers never happened. Flights often left with empty seats. Despite initial optimism, the route quickly became a financial disappointment. This is a classic example of how even well-researched new routes can fail in the real world. Not every city pair, even in a busy state like Texas, is destined for success. The main reason for the cancellation? Often the answer is simple. Not enough people bought tickets to fill the plane. This is a big problem airlines face all over the world, especially on certain routes where the number of passengers can change a lot. Low demand is measured by a key airline number called the load factor. This number is super important for deciding if a route is worth keeping or not. The load factor is the percentage of seats that are filled by paying passengers. The higher the load factor, the better the flight is doing financially. For Austin-Midland, the load factor stayed below 60%. That's a lot less than the 75 to 80% airlines need to just break even. This means the airline was losing money on every flight. That means almost half the seats were empty, flight after flight. Every empty seat means lost money, while the costs of running the plane keep going up. With high fixed costs, like planes, fuel, and salaries, airlines need full flights to make a profit. Every flight that isn't full puts more financial pressure on them. Month after month, Delta saw the numbers weren't getting better. The number of passengers staying the same or going down made things even harder. No matter how good a route might seem, the actual number of passengers decides if it stays or goes. Real data is more important than hopes or guesses. For Delta, consistently low load factors were a clear sign to cut their losses. It's a tough decision, but often one they have to make. Airlines have to make hard but necessary business decisions. Closing a route can mean saving the whole operation. In the end, the numbers speak louder than any predictions. An airline's business decisions are always based on real facts, not just hopes. Every empty seat means lost money for the airline. Unlike other businesses that can save products to sell later, an empty airplane seat on one flight can't be replaced. Once the plane takes off, the chance to make money from that empty seat is gone forever. The costs to run a plane, like fuel, upkeep, and staff, are very high, and the profit margins are small. Every flight needs a big investment, from getting the plane ready to paying the crew and airport fees. Even if only a few seats are empty, the loss can really add up. Airlines need most of their seats filled just to break even. For many, that's at least 75%. If the number of filled seats goes below this, the airline starts losing money, even if the plane looks pretty full. Routes with only 60% of seats filled, like Austin-Midland, just aren't sustainable. In the long run, an airline can't keep losing money on a route like this without it hurting their whole business. Think of it like a movie theater. If half the seats are empty, the movie won't play for long. It's the same with flights. If not enough people want to fly, that route will be hard to keep going. Airlines are always moving planes to routes where more people want to fly. They have to be flexible and quick to change with the market to stay competitive. Canceling a route that isn't doing well frees up planes and crews for flights that make more money. This is a key strategy to keep the airline financially healthy. It's a bummer for the communities that are affected, but it's really important for the airline to survive. Sometimes, tough choices have to be made for things to last in the long run. By moving their resources around, airlines can make their most popular markets even stronger. This lets them offer more flights on busy routes and make their service better. The truth about business is clear. Only the strongest routes make it. The competition is tough, and what passengers want decides the future of every route. That's why Delta had to make this decision, to make sure they can keep serving customers on the routes that are needed most and keep the business flying. Why did Delta keep flying the Austin-Midland route for so long? Some experts think it was about keeping valuable gate space at the busy Austin airport. Airlines have to use their gates regularly, or they might lose them to other airlines. By flying to Midland, Delta met the rules for using the gates and kept its important spot. This placeholder route gave Delta time to plan bigger things in Austin. Now, with new, better routes starting, the Midland service isn't needed anymore. Canceling isn't just about losing money, it's about making way for Delta's next step in Austin. It's a smart move in a bigger plan. Delta CEO Ed Bastian is all about making the airline's network the best it can be. His plan? Put money into routes that are popular and make good money, and cut the ones that aren't doing so well. That means fewer flights to smaller towns and more to big airports and popular places. The Austin-Midland route didn't fit this plan. Not many people wanted to fly it, and it didn't bring in many high-paying customers. Keeping it would tie up planes and crews that could be used somewhere else. So, ending this flight really lines up with Delta's goal, flying to where customers want to go the most. It's not about the cities, it's about smart business. For Delta, this is just the next step in building a stronger and more profitable airline network. For Midlands Airport, losing Delta is a setback, less competition and fewer options for travelers. Local leaders are disappointed, but Southwest Airlines will continue to offer daily nonstop service to Austin. Southwest already dominates Midlands Airport, serving a variety of destinations and keeping the region connected. Midland isn't giving up. City leaders are investing millions of dollars in terminal upgrades to attract new airlines. These improvements aim to make the airport more attractive and efficient. The goal? Replace lost service and expand options for the Permian Basin. While losing Delta stings, Midland's proactive approach could pay off in the long run. The city is determined to stay connected and competitive. The future depends on smart investments and strong partnerships. While Delta left Midland, the airline actually made its presence stronger in Austin. This city is now Delta's main focus for growth in Texas, showing a big change in how they plan their flights. Airlines are now focusing on routes that have a lot of demand, especially international vacation trips that people in and around Austin want more and more. The need for trips overseas has gone way up, making Delta think of new flight paths. Starting in December 2025, Delta will begin direct flights from Austin to Cancun and Cabo San Lucas, two popular vacation spots that many travelers are expected to like a lot. This is a smart move to get more international passengers. Also, Delta is opening a permanent base for flight attendants in Austin, which shows they plan to stay in the city for a long time. This base will make things run smoother and give better service to passengers. This step helps Delta become more rooted in Austin and supports their growing flight schedule as more planes and crew are based there. Cutting the Midland route, adding international flights, and putting money into a crew base all point to one thing. Austin is now set up to be a main hub for Delta in this area. Airlines are cutting routes that aren't doing well to help grow stronger and last longer in places where there's more potential. For Delta, Austin's future is about making big, profitable connections, not just relying on small regional links that aren't as popular. This is a bold and smart plan to deal with a fast-growing market, while also making Delta stronger as a key player in Austin. Delta's decision shows a bigger trend in the airline world, a shift toward making more money and being more efficient. Airlines are cutting regional routes that don't do well and focusing on big hubs and popular places. For travelers, this means fewer direct flights between small towns and more connections through big airports. It's all about getting the most out of their resources, using every plane to its fullest. The Austin-Midland story is simple: high hopes, low demand, and a smart business move. In today's competitive market, every route has to prove it's worth it. Airlines are flying smarter, focusing on where people want to go the most. This is a new time for air travel, more streamlined, tougher, and more planned out than ever before.